Alright guys, today we're going to be reviewing the Corona non-alcoholic beer, which I think is going to be very interesting to try. And we're also going to be trying the Nestle Susy vanilla chocolate wafers that have a very, very funny name, I will say. So these wafers, I kind of saw them a little while ago and I thought they were very funny because Susy, just what a name is that. And they seem like to be more of a Latin food, because it's got Spanish before the English. So I think this is more of a kind of Hispanic product. So that'll be interesting to try. And I guess that's a good pairing with a Corona, because that's also more of a Hispanic product as well. So that'll be super fun. So yeah, I'm really excited to try this. I've seen it a lot of times and I've always wanted to try it. It's $2 for a big pack like this. This is a pretty big pack. So it's a good deal. I was just at Walgreens and I was like, sure, you know. And then this Corona non-alcoholic beer, I'm pretty excited to try it. In my last video, I did say that this was my favorite non-alcoholic beer, and there's a very good reason why. I think it has one of the best flavors and tastes for a non-alcoholic beverage. I think it does a really good job at really tasting like a beer, feeling like a beer, but not having any of the effects of alcohol in it. So we're going to really quickly talk about why are there non-alcoholic beers and beverages, and you see them everywhere nowadays. You see White Claws, Peronis, Heineken. You see it on F1 as they're being sponsored by it. So let's quickly talk about why these exist and why I personally think they exist. So I think they exist because they're trying to fill a place in the market where people want to be a little bit more health conscious, or maybe they're an alcoholic and they're trying to lean off of alcohol, and this is just a way to taste it but not get that alcohol feel from it. So that's probably the business reason why. But my personal opinion of why they exist is I think it's for the type of person that doesn't want to drink at the party, but doesn't want to be left out or harassed for not drinking. So having something like this makes them fit in, but not have to drink and do all that things if they don't want to, which I think is a really good thing. Not drinking alcohol, I would say, is a lot more healthy for you. So if that's what you want to do, then this is the way to go. I wouldn't say there's anything immoral with drinking alcohol, but if you don't want to, it's definitely a healthier choice. So other things I want to talk about for this, though, we're seeing a push from it. So you see White Claws that have non-alcoholic. You see Heineken that has a non-alcoholic. Corona has a non-alcoholic. We got Peronis that have non-alcoholics. There's a bunch of them. And I think it's because millennials and Generation Z are kind of going away from things that we know are bad for us now, you know? The no smoking ads of like the 90s and 2000s really did kick in, because you do see that a lot of people aren't smoking cigarettes anymore. People know that it's really bad for them. Now, vaping, that's a whole other discussion. Everyone's vaping these days, which I will say is still not as bad as cigarettes, but still almost just as bad as cigarettes. But still, people are trying to be a little bit healthier, and they know that cigarettes are bad for them. The government, in America at least, has made it very, very, very well known that it is bad for you, making it printed on the cigarette box where it says Surgeon's General Warning, stuff like that. And then you even see in like Canada, where if you buy a pack of cigarettes, it'll have like pictures of like dead people and shit, of like people that had cancer from smoking cigarettes. So the world as a whole is becoming more health conscious, and I think that's shown in Generation Z and in the millennial generation as well. So I think people are trying to lean more towards a non-alcoholic beverage rather than getting drunk all the time. I think people know that it's just not fun. I don't think it's more of a religion issue. I mean, there definitely could be people that don't want to drink for religious purposes, maybe like a Mormon or like a devout Christian that's trying to go try. That's totally cool, and this is a good option for them. Well, maybe not this one specifically, but other options like Heineken or Peroni would be a really great option for those people that want to fit in, have a brewski with the boys, but not have any alcohol with it. So yeah, today we're going to be trying these two. I'm going to be telling you how they taste, how good they are, and if I really enjoy it. So yeah, here's what they are. All right, perfect. Let's get into the packaging and the bottle of the Corona non-alcoholic beer. So let's quickly take a look. It definitely looks a lot different from your standard Corona. It's got more of a blue going on right now. I would say from what I recall, I haven't had one since like my grandma's birthday for a family gathering. I think they don't have a lot of blue. I think it's more of either a dark blue or even a black that's on the bottle. So this blue, I think it is supposed to be the industry's non-alcoholic color. Because if you look at the Heineken, the 0.0 is a blue. If you look at the White Claw, it's like a purplish blue can that shows that it's a non-alcoholic White Claw. And then for other drinks, I think this is the color for non-alcoholic. So I think that's what they're going for here. So as you can say, it says Corona non-alcoholic. It does say, though, and kind of contradicts itself, where it says contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume. So that means that this still does have a little bit of alcohol in it. Not enough to get you drunk, of course. If you eat enough bread, you'll get drunk off of the yeast. So this isn't enough alcohol to get you drunk by far, but it still does have a little bit, which makes it probably not the best option for someone that has to be sober, like a Mormon or something like that. So I would recommend for you Mormon buddies, more of a Heineken or a Peroni, which are 0% alcohol through and through. But I think their choice to leave a little bit of alcohol in it, less than 0.5%, so it can't get you drunk, and that's in the legal limit. In America, it has to have less than 0.5% to be called a non-alcoholic beverage, so it's a legal drink. But I think it keeps a little bit of it for a flavor reason. I don't think it's to get you a little drunk. It's not what they're going for. If that's what they were going for, that would be a little facetious, and I would say that that's kind of wrong. But I think they're going for that non-alcoholic, I think they're going for the less than 0.5%, sorry for jumbling up my words there, because it helps the flavor not get so crappy. So I will say this is my favorite one. I think it's because of that. I think it's because it does have more of an original taste. I would say that the Heineken and the Peroni taste a little bit less good as this one because it has more of a taste. You know, it's like drinking decaf coffee. It just doesn't taste like coffee. It just tastes wrong, you know? And so I think that little bit of hint of alcohol, which I wouldn't call a problem, of course, this wouldn't do anything to you. I think it's keeping the flavor closer to what a normal Corona would taste like. And in my opinion, from when I had this last, I would say that this is better than a alcoholic Corona. I don't know what it is. It just tastes better in my opinion. So I think it really does a good job at it. Another thing I'd like to mention, it's only 60 calories for this whole bottle. If I recall correctly, beer is usually higher in calorie content. So this is like a low carb beer, which I think is really great, you know, because beers tend to like give you, oh, we got a truck going by. Currently, I'm in a parking lot right now, just outside my house, just because they're doing renovations in there right now. So I'm currently not allowed inside my house, which stinks, but that's okay. So that's why we're in the car, and I'm not too far from home. So, and also this is non-alcoholic beverage, so we shouldn't have an issue there. But as I said, it's kind of a low carb thing. So this has got a lot going for it. It doesn't have any alcohol. It's very low in calorie. So I think it's a good option for people that like a Corona but don't want to get drunk. Let's talk about the back real quick. It's got a QR code here that probably gives you more nutritional facts. Corona non-alcoholic title, again, contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume per 12 fluid ounce can. Average analysis, 60 calories, 17.5 grams of carbs, 1.3 grams of protein. This is good if you're bulking. And 0 grams of fat, imported from Mexico. So I guess that's going with our Latin kind of food that we're having today. Just some more Crown imports, and then the tag, and then questions. You can visit the corona.com website or text 1-800-295-1032. So that's the bottle. I think it looks really nice. Now we're going to quickly talk about the cap. The cap of it, I'd say, is very iconic. It's got the standard crown above the Corona, but it's blue. Again, it's going for that non-alcoholic color that's trying to be a little more friendly. So that's the whole can. I think it's time to, without further ado, crack this bad boy open and try it. So let me get my Hard Rock bottle opener real quick. We're going to give it a little pop. Oh, we got a little pressure building. Bubbling away right now. I think me talking has been shaking it up a little bit. There goes the top. Keep this, I don't want it rolling around my car. So let's take a sip of the Corona non-alcoholic beverage. And it foams up just like a beer too. It's very good, very good. I'm tasting some solid things in my mouth. Maybe it was just some food I had in my mouth. So let's talk about the flavor real quick. The flavor, it definitely tastes like a Corona. So it kind of has that tangy beer taste to it. Has a bit of an aftertaste as well. Kind of tastes on the back round part of your tongue. It's definitely got that beer tang to it. So it's a very good option for people trying to lean off of alcohol, because it still tastes just like a beer, but it has none of the alcohol. Yep, foams up just like a beer. I'd say flavor-wise, it's definitely got that bitter beer taste. Definitely a malt beverage we're trying here today, but I think it does a really good job of imitating what the alcoholic Corona tastes like. And I guess to say why it's better, than the alcoholic one, is I think it does a good job at kind of balancing the bitter to flavor ratio. I would say that Corona, or all beers in general, I would say, are kind of on a fine balance between bitterness and a flavorness of the beer. Now, it is a malt beverage, so it's going to have that bitter flavor to it. That's how beer works, and that's how it's always worked. Got a burp coming. Excuse me. It's got a bitter flavor to it. That's how beer works, right? So all beers are trying to balance that bitterness with that flavorness, right? And so I'd say most beers, and the reason why people don't like beer, is it really leans into that bitter, flavor that people really don't like from beer. But I think this Corona non-alcoholic does a really good job at leaning more into flavor than bitterness. Excuse me. So I would say that this definitely does a better job than the alcoholic Corona to lean into flavor over the bitterness. And I think that bitterness comes from the alcohol, you know? Like, you take a shot of anything, you just like, tastes like mouthwash, you know? And I think that's the bitterness of alcohol. So I think these non-alcoholic beverages overall kind of get rid of some of that ness, that alcohol bitterness that kind of ruins the flavor of a beer and makes people not like it. But then you might ask, then why is the Heineken not my favorite, or the Peroni, which are both no alcohol, period? Why aren't those my favorite? I think the beer companies put in some bitterness, like fake bitterness or whatever, to make it taste like a beer. And I think they put too much. It's kind of like Dasani. If you know anything about Dasani water, you would know that Dasani, the way it works, it is filtered water from anywhere around the world, right? Like, they could get it from a pond or anything, and it's filtered water. But then they artificially put minerals in there, and that's why it tastes like dog shit. It's the worst water. If I was in a desert and I was dying, and there was a 5-minute walk to a Dasani or a 30-minute walk to a Zephyr Hills, I would take the 30-minute walk and risk dying, because it actually tastes disgusting. And that's because they're trying to artificially make it taste more minerally, like a good water, like a Zephyr Hills, which is just more of a natural water that doesn't have like a nasty bitterness to it. I guess a good example would be Evian. Evian's just spring water from mountains that is naturally filtered just from where it's coming from. Or Fiji water, which is literally filtered by the volcanoes in Fiji. You know, that's where they get the water, and that's why it tastes so good, because it's these natural minerals that add to the flavorness of water. Water has flavor, that's an actual thing. And I think that might be a good video, actually, to review some waters. I might do that next time. So, yeah, water definitely has a taste, and it comes from those minerals. And when Dasani puts in fake minerals, that's how they ruin it. And I think that's what's happening with the Heineken and with the Peroni, the 0% alcohol beers that put in some bitterness to try to artificially create that beer tang to it, but they go a little bit overboard with it, and it kind of ruins the flavor. This, on the other hand, I don't think it has any of that. Since it still has some alcohol in it, less than 0.5%, to be fair, of course, but I think it doesn't have any of that fake bitterness, or if it does, it doesn't need as much, because it still has a little bit of alcohol in it, and because of that, you're getting that natural bitterness. It's like a Fiji of the non-alcoholic beers. It's a natural bitterness from the alcohol instead of an artificial bitterness coming from a Heineken or a Peroni. Don't quote me on any of this, of course. This is all just speculation, just coming from my head. Very good, very good. You can see me squint a little bit from the bitterness. Definitely has some bitter twang to it, of course, but I'd say it is very good. Now that we've gone a little bit through the beer, I think it's time to try the Susy or whatever it's called, Nestle Chocolate Vanilla Wafer. That's a 4-pack, and we just look around. I think, honestly, this design of itself is very iconic. If you've ever seen this in like a meme or something around the internet, you can't take your eyes off this. What a title is that? What even is this? If I could, I would try to translate it and see what it means. Down in the comments, if you ever find the translation for sussy, let me know what it means. Because maybe it's like a Spanish word or something, I don't know. But it's a very iconic Oh, she's doing okay. It's getting a little hot in here in the car because I don't want to have the car running. It's very loud. So I'll turn the car on. I got the cat in here. She's just hanging out. She's taking a nap. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So it's a 4-pack of the Susy Wafers. Back to the packaging, of course. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Very iconic. Very iconic. You can't forget something like this. It's got the chocolate rim around it to kind of show that chocolatey flavor. And then it has the wafer print. You can see. Excuse me. Oh, wow. Beer's making me burp. Non-alcoholic beer. It's got that wafer design here, kind of showing what you're getting from this. Yeah, these are all in Spanish. 130 calories. One of the wafers is 130 calories. Yeah, this is all in Spanish. I'm out of my zone here. It's a product of Venezuela. That's pretty cool, actually. My girlfriend's mom is from Venezuela, so that's very cool. It's a Nestle product. It's good by 2025. 130 calories. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I think without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open and see what the actual product looks like. Very excited to see what it's like. Oh, that's actually very nice. They're individually wrapped within the container. So as we pull one out, it's like a little Susy bar. So it's a wrapping within a wrapping because Nestle loves plastic. Wow, very interesting. I did not expect that. Even from the outside, I thought I'd see that. No, I thought they were just loose in here. Very interesting. I thought this was going to be a messy product, and I was kind of worried because I'm just in my car right now. So let me quickly put this aside, and I guess we can kind of look at this. This is basically just a smaller version of the product before, but it's not see-through anymore. That one was a little see-through, I think, or at least... No, actually, it wasn't see-through. It just kind of appeared see-through. So I thought it was 4 big bars. No, it's 4 little bars in here. You can kind of see me bending them around, but there are 4 bars in here. So it's basically just a little wrapper of the other one. So let's crack this bad boy open again and see what we get. All right. Kind of looks like a big Kit Kat with less chocolate to start off, but I guess that's what a wafer is in the first place. It's kind of a dumb thing to say. All right, so it looks like it's only 2. So it looks like, I'm gonna crack it open a little bit more. Yeah, there's 2 wafers in here. As you can see, 2 wafers. And kind of looking at it, it definitely looks like a wafer. So you see the wafer design, and it's stacked. It's got 3 lines of chocolate, and then I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of the wafer. So I think this is, I kept saying vanilla chocolate. I think I was kind of thinking about the wafer. So it's more of a wafer chocolate, not really a vanilla chocolate flavor. So we're going to try this real quick. And then we'll also see how well it pairs with a Corona, which usually I would not say that a wafer is a type of beer food to go with. But we'll still try it. You know, we're hanging out. We're in the car. We might as well. It's a lot squishier than I thought it would be. Oh, this is good. This is very good. I will say, definitely lighter on the chocolate than I thought it would be. But that's all right. It's okay. Hold on 1 second. All right. We got the AC running real quick just because it is a little bit hot in here and I don't want the cat to overheat. Wouldn't want that to happen to my little girl down there. Her name is Mavis and she's perfect. But I didn't take any more bites. We literally paused for just a second just to get the AC going because it is a little bit hot in here. We're in Florida right now. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I do go to UCF. And wow, the temperature difference from back at home and then school is insane. Here it's currently 80 degrees, which it's not too bad. But back in Orlando at UCF, it was beautiful there. It was like 60 degrees. It was sweater weather and pant weather for sure. Now I'm in a t-shirt and shorts and I am not happy. I will have to admit, I am not happy with that. Back to the food review though. I kind of like, I felt the wafer material, like the imprint of it on my tongue. That's actually, this is really good. I will say though, it's a lot of calories. This little thing itself is 1 serving and is 250 calories. Sorry if the car just turned on, makes noises. Nothing we could do about that. I will say, this is very good. Now that I'm getting a little bit deeper into the bar, some of that chocolate flavor is coming in. You can kind of see we've got some chocolate bits hanging out. But it kind of looks like they had like a little bar, a very thin bar of chocolate and thin bars of wafer. And they just smushed them together. That's kind of what it is. But that's what a wafer is. So maybe I'm making dumb calls here, but whatever. Let's just let it get a little bit cooler in here, just because it is a little hot today, we'll be honest. Actually, I'm going to pause real quick just because it's going to be a little noisy. All right, it got a little bit cooler in the car, just what we needed. I also ate a little bit more of the wafer off camera while I was cooling down in the car, just so I can pull it out to kind of show you guys what I was talking about, how it's just a little piece of chocolate and wafer just squished together. And it has that meshy pattern on it and everything. Very good. Honestly, I expected a lot less. I really expected it to not taste very good at all, but it's actually very good. Although I will say, it's not technically a candy, but it's kind of in the candy genre. So, as a candy, I think it kind of fails at having more of a sweetness overall. You know, I would want my candy to be more sweet. I'm kind of comparing this mostly to a Kit Kat, which I would say is my favorite candy bar at the current time right now. As a candy bar, I think it really fails at kind of delivering that chocolate flavor. But as a cracker wafer, I think it does a really good job at delivering that. And at a good cost, too. One of these bars here is a good snack on the go, and you get 4 of them for $2. In this economy, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. So now we're going to try the non-alcoholic Corona after we had some wafer to see if we taste any different. Yeah, not really. Beer is a very strong flavor and kind of overpowers anything you're eating. That's why, personally, I wouldn't really drink a beer with anything that I think is a really good meal. Just crackers or something, because honestly, it's going to take away from the overall flavor. It's like putting barbecue sauce on a steak, or putting the barbecue on the potato wedges in our last video like we showed before. Even in a chug, it's nice and cool going down the throat, which is really nice on a hot day like this. I'm very happy with my purchase of the Susy chocolate wafers. I'm very happy with the flavor of this. This is by far my favorite non-alcoholic beverage. Very good flavor, very good flavor to bitterness ratio for a beer. I think it does better than even a normal standard Corona. I remember at my family outing when my uncle let me try his Corona when I was a little bit younger. It was disgusting. Ugh. Not only recently when I was hanging out with my dad was I able to put a lime into the Corona like they tell you should do, or like Pedro Pascal does in the advertisements for it. Did it taste a little bit better? But overall, I'd say Corona as a standard beer, not very good. But this is very good. It is a very good non-alcoholic beer. Maybe my taste buds are changing as I'm growing as a person, and maybe I like just the taste of beer more as I'm getting older, but I don't know, this is just really good. I think it might be wise to cover the Heineken and the Peronis and Peroni in like one video, kind of just talking about the differences of the two, kind of just going over how they taste and stuff, just to kind of see and compare them and be like, who's the better of the two 0% beers, right? I'm not much of a seltzer guy. Personally, if you're gonna drink a beer, it's because you want to enjoy the flavor of beer. Beer is not a good drink, even in a standard alcoholic beer, is not a good drink to get drunk off of. It's cheap, sure, but it's not really worth getting drunk off. You're just gonna have a beer belly by the time you feel anything from it, to where, because they're so low in alcohol, there's like no point. So I would say beer, if you enjoy beer and you enjoy the flavor of beer, non-alcoholic beers might be the way to go. They seem to be overall low in calorie, they seem to be low in carbs, and they seem to not make you drunk, because that's how that works, not having alcohol in it. So I think for someone that enjoys the flavor of beer, I think a non-alcoholic beer, and especially a Corona, is a good way to go. And back to what I was saying before, beer is for people that like the flavor of it. If you don't like the flavor of beer, then yeah, sure, go have your seltzers or your shots or whatever, if that's what you're trying to do. Personally, I don't want to get drunk. That's not something I like to do. So this is a good substitute for me to enjoy the flavor of a beer as I do. If I was drinking an alcoholic beer, it would be because I'm enjoying the flavor of it and not trying to get drunk. Because like I said before, this is probably the worst thing to try and get drunk off of. 4.6% alcohol, that will take you a long time. So I have friends that tell me, hey, why do you like the non-alcoholic beers? It takes all the fun out of the beer. That's not what I'm there for, you know? That's not the purpose of why I drink beer. I drink beer, and specifically non-alcoholic beer, because I like the flavor of it. So if you're like me, put a comment in the section down below to say you agree or disagree with that statement. Because personally, I don't like getting drunk. Personally, I don't need to get drunk. I only do it around family because I'm not going to parties or anything like that. And so this is a great substitute for the beers that do have alcohol in them. And this is, I would say, is the best one on the market for a non-alcoholic beer. And you know, most people would say Corona's not good. That's kind of true in my opinion. As an alcoholic beverage, it's not good at all. But as a non-alcoholic, it does a very good job at that. It does a fine, good job. So, thank you for watching this video and this review today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other ideas of what I should be doing next for our next video, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would suggest to have 7 Modelo's and a McDonald's meal. Maybe later in life, I don't know. But I think the water review might be up and the Peroni and the Heineken review. But please let me know if there's anything you're interested in me trying. But anyways, you guys have a good one. Have a good day.